Hi, scholars. Welcome back to Read Aloud. We're going to read the one and only Ivan, part 8 today. Before we get started, we need to go over revised understanding the what, how, and why. What we need to do is collect evidence about the characters to evaluate our understanding of the character. We need to ask ourselves, why would the character act this way? Is this information that I already know, or am I learning some new information about the character? And why we're doing this is to gain a better understanding of the lesson of the story. For today, we're going to do one big idea and find text evidence, and your job is to find text evidence for this second big idea. For this second big idea, I want you to find three pieces of evidence to support this big idea. There are so many pieces that you can use to support this. So I want you to find three. For the big ideas for today, Stella is protective of Ruby. We know Ruby has just arrived to the Big Top Mall. She has not gotten off the truck yet. Stella is protective of Ruby. She wants to keep her calm and make her feel safe. Our second big idea, the one that you're going to do independently. Ivan is pouting because everyone is paying attention to Ruby and feels left out. He's getting a little jealous of all the attention that Ruby is getting. We know that Mac got Ruby so he could possibly make more money. Now, Ivan feels a little bit jealous of Ruby because she's a new animal and she's getting all the attention. Open your PDFs to page 71. Stella helps. The men are still yelling. Some of the yelling is at each other, but most of it is at Ruby. We hear scrambling, pounding, shifting. The side of the truck shudders. I'm starting to like this elephant, Bob whisper. I'm getting the big one, Mac says. Maybe she can coax the stupid brat out of the truck. Mac opens Stella's door. Come on, girl, he urges. He unties the rope and attaches the floor bolt. Stella pushes past Mac, nearly knocking him over. She rushes as best as she can, limping heavily toward the open back door of the truck. She catches her swollen foot on the edge of the ramp and winces. Blood trickles down. We haven't seen Ruby yet, but we're already learning about her. In the text, it says some of the yelling and pushing, and most of it is at Ruby. And we hear the scrambling, the pounding, and the shifting. And I'm starting to like this elephant, Bob says. And that makes me think that Ruby is being very stubborn and doesn't want to get off the back of the truck. Halfway up the ramp, she pauses. The noise is in the truck. Ruby falls silent. Slowly, Stella makes her way to the rest of the ramp. It groans under her weight. And I can tell how much she is hurting by the awkward way she moves. At the top of the incline, she stops and she pokes her trunk into the emptiness. We wait. The tiny gray trunk peers again. Shyly, it reaches out, tasting the air. Stella curls her own trunk around the babies. They make soft, rubbing sounds. We wait some more. A hush falls over the big entire top mall. Thud, thud, step, step, pause. Step, step, pause. And there she is, so small she can fit underneath Stella with room to spare. Her skin sags, and she sways unsteadily as she makes her way down the ramp. I found my first piece of evidence to support my first big idea. Stella is protective of Ruby and she wants to keep her calm and make sure she feels safe. So my first piece of evidence here is on page 71. So you can write as I write. I'm going to make sure that I write my page number. Page 71 and then put my quotation marks. Stella curls her trunk around the babies. They make soft rumbling sounds. This tells me that the baby is starting to trust Stella a little bit more. Stella took her trunk and curled it around the baby's to make her feel safe. Let's see if we can find more text evidence to support it. There's always more than one piece of evidence to support a big idea. Not the greatest specimen, Max says, but I got her cheap from this bankrupt circus out west. They had shipped her over from Africa. She had a month before they went bust. He gestures towards Ruby. Things is, people love babies. Baby elephants, baby gorillas. Heck, give me a baby alligator and I can make a killing. Stella ushers Ruby toward her domain. Mac and the two men follows. At Stella's door, Ruby hesitates. Mac gives Ruby a shove, but she doesn't budge. Doggone it, get a clue, Ruby, he mutters, but Ruby isn't moving, and neither is Stella. Mac grabs a broom. He raises it. Instantly, Stella steps in front of Ruby to shield her. Get in the cage, both of you, Mac shouts. Stella stares at Mac, considering. Gently but firmly, using her trunk, she nudges Ruby into her domain. Only then Stella enters. Mac slams the door with a clang. I see the two trunks entwined. I hear Stella whispering. Poor kid, Bob says. Welcome to Exit 8, Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan. I found two more pieces of evidence that I can add to my big idea. One is on page 73. And this supports my big idea because this is how Stella protects Ruby. Stella steps in front of Ruby to shield her. When Mac grabbed the broom to push Ruby into the domain, Stella stepped in front of it so Mac would not hit her. Then I have another piece of evidence on page 74. I see two trunks entwined. That means that they still have their trunks entwined together because Stella wants to protect Ruby because she's a baby. And she's really shy about going into a new place and really scared. So that tells me those are the pieces of evidence that supports my big idea. Old news. Now you're looking for evidence to support the next big idea about Ivan being jealous of Ruby and she's getting all the attention. When Julia comes home, she sits by Stella's domain and watches the new baby. She barely talks to me. Stella doesn't talk to me either. She's too busy nuzzling Ruby. She is cute, little Ruby, with her ears flapping like a palm leaves. But I'm handsome and strong. Bob trots a circle around my belly before settling down in just the right spot. Give it up, Ivan, he says. You're old news. Julia gets out a piece of paper and a pencil. I can see that she is drawing Ruby. I move out of the corner of my domain to pout. Bob grumbles. He doesn't like it when I disrupt his naps. Homework, Julia father scolds. Julia sighs and puts her drawing aside. I grunt, and Julia glances in my direction. Poor old Ivan, she says. I have been ignoring you, haven't I? I grunt again, a dignified and different grunt. Julia thinks for a moment, then smiles. She walks over to my domain to the spot in the corner where the glass is broken. She slides papers through. She rolls a pencil across my cement floor. You can draw the baby elephant too, Julia says. I bite the pencil in half with my magnificent teeth. Then I eat the paper. Tricks. Even after Julia and her father leave, I try to keep sulking, but it's no use. Gorillas are not by nature pouters. Stella, I call. It's a full moon, did you see? Sometimes, when we are lucky, we catch a glimpse of the moon in the skylight in the food court. I did, Stella says. She is whispering. I realize that Ruby must be asleep. Is Ruby all right? I ask. She is too thin, Ivan, Stella says. Poor baby. She was in that trunk for days. Mac bought her from a circus the same way he bought me, But she hadn't been there long. She was born in the wild like us. Will she be okay? I asked. Stella doesn't answer my question. The circus trainers chained her to the floor, Ivan, all 4 feet, 23 hours a day. I puzzle over why this would be a good idea. I always try to give humans the benefit of the doubt. Why would they do that? I finally asked. To break her spirit, Stella says. So she could learn to balance on a pedestal, so she could stand on her hind legs, and so a dog could jump on her back while she walked in a mindless circus. I heard her tired voice and think of all the tricks Stella has learned. The next morning, when I awake, I see a little trunk poking out between the bars of Stella's domain. Hello, says a small, clear voice. I'm Ruby. She waves her trunk. Hello, I say. I'm Ivan. Are you a monkey? Ruby asks. Certainly not. Bob's ears perk up, although his eyes stay closed. He's a gorilla, he says. I am a dog of uncertain heritage. Why did the dog climb your tummy? Ruby asks. Because it's there, Bob murmurs. Is Stella awake? I ask. Aunt Stella is asleep, Ruby says. Her foot is hurting, I think. Ruby turns her head. Her eyes are like Stella's, black and long-lashed, bottomless lakes fringed by tall grass. When is breakfast? She asks. Soon, I say, when the mall opens and the workers come. Where? Ruby twists her head in one direction. Where are all the other elephants? It's just you and Stella, I say, and for some reason, I feel we have let her down. Are you there? Are there more of you? Not, I say, at the moment. Ruby picks up a piece of hay and considers it. Do you have a mom and a dad? Well, I used to. Everyone has parents, Bob explains. It's unavoidable. Before the circus, I used to live with my mom and my aunts and my sisters and my cousins, Ruby said. She drops the hay, picks it up, twirls it. They're dead. I don't know what to say. I'm not really enjoying this conversation, but I can't see that Ruby isn't done talking. To be polite, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Humans killed them, she says. Who else? Bob asks, and we all fall silent. I'm noticing that Ivan, Stella, and Ruby were all taken from their families in the wild, and their families were captive by humans and they killed them. So they all feel some type of loneliness. You're going to find the text evidence that supports why Ivan is pouting and why everyone is paying attention to Ruby and feels left out. And you're going to find the evidence to support of why Ivan feels jealous. You're finding 3 pieces of evidence. Don't forget your page number and your quotation marks. I can't wait to see your work.